Okay, hello everybody. I just wanted to talk to you a couple of things today. One of the things I want to talk to you about is about the city bikes thing, as well as what's going to happen in New York. New York, as we speak, New York has been going through a lot of different transitions. And one of the transitions we have is going from a city that never sleeps to a city that can't sleep. And so I was listening to a couple things about the things they do in New York just to kind of make things crazy. But one of the things I want to talk to you about is the thing that makes me crazy when talking about New York is the city bike thing. But before that, why that's kind of ties in together is because the city bike thing is a problem in the city. But one of the other problems that we're facing is this thing here I have in the back is about what they're going to do. Protesters rally around New York City. Um, they rally outside New York City over Mayor Adams' budget cuts. So they're going to do a budget cut, and so pretty much dozens of protesters descend on City Hall Friday to demand Eric Adams roll back his sweeping citywide budget cuts, arguing that everyday New Yorkers will only suffer. This is true. Brandishing signs declare no more cuts. We need a people's budget. The rally goers marched through City Hall, Park in Lower Manhattan, a day after his honor revealed all city agencies would have their budget slashed by 5% as part of his updated 2020 financial plan. Now, there's a couple things there where I think about. I think about the terms of like you have it where our they should really do like what Vivek has been saying about like the zero-based balance, where you don't look at what you did last year. You start off with what we need and work from that way. But one thing we don't need to have all the migrants or the legal aliens, as they're properly called, to be in the city and taking the budgets and the money from everything, because this is kind of connected directly to the migrant crisis. And so what they've done is that they had an employee benefit we talked about a couple weeks ago, about last week or 2 weeks, about how they had Floyd Benfield opened, and what they did instead of it opening up, they decided to go ahead and the people went there, and they realized that it's really a barren wasteland, and that really there's nothing out there for anybody. So what ended up happening is that people decided to just not go onto the buses and not get off the buses, but to stay on the buses, or to get off the bus, look at it, and go back on the bus and leave to go somewhere else, complain that this is not a great place for them, which is obviously true because anybody with any kind of understanding of common sense would understand that it really is a barren wasteland. And so I don't know, they should have thought this out before. But that's the thing about liberals. Liberals don't see the future. They have some kind of weird thought about the future. They can only see here and now, right now. And it's almost like a baby who poops their pants and doesn't care about what happens after that. It's like, you try to make all the effort you can not to, in a situation where you have to poop your pants. But is what they do. So anyway, so the crowd made up primarily of teachers, union members, community groups, and local elected officials rallied against Adams for primarily blaming the Big Apple's financial woes on the escalating migrant crisis, which he has estimated will set back 12 billion over the next 3 fiscal years. $12 billion. You don't close. Let's see what it has. You don't close budget gaps by putting some New Yorkers against other New Yorkers. New York Comptroller Brad Lander told the roughly 60 chanting protesters. The budget is a process of us coming together to make good decisions about how to invest in our future, which liberals don't do. Not blaming that unless it's for their own pocket. I mean, I mean, maybe the liberals, not the word leftist. Leftist is the proper word because liberals is a different kind of thing, but leftist is a whole different thing. The city is being run by blue, no matter who, and there you have it. So I mean, not that I do any better because I'm not really sure what I would do honestly, because it's like you have these people who want to just destroy and put us into Agenda 2030 type thing, and they'll do whatever it takes to do that. But for the most part, though, they are doing this. It says they don't know what the future. It says it's right here to the budget is a process of us coming together to make good decisions about how to invest in our future, not blaming the newest arrivals for budget cuts being implemented, also being implemented in a broad way and not a strategically targeted way. Ralligo scoffed at Mayor's notions that his financial plan would have minimal disruption to citywide services, claiming New Yorkers would feel the brunt. I see you got a nice picture right here. Protesters brandished signs saying "No more cuts. We need a people's budget" as they rallied outside City Hall on Friday. Paul Martin Martinka. Let's see, the crowd made up primarily of teachers, union members, community groups, and local elected officials urged Adams to roll back his cuts. Paul Martinka. People are going to feel this round of cuts, says Zara Nasir, executive director of the People's Plan Coalition. They're going to go to their libraries on Sundays. Well, we don't go to the library on Sundays because libraries Sundays close here in Queens, but library on Sundays, and see that they are now open. They'll want to go. want to go and enroll their kids in summer programming or after school programming or childcare, and that's going to probably affect me in my art, right? Because I just had this thing coming up where I'm going to do two classes in December. It's probably going to affect me. Probably not going to have that to go to Plan B. All right. After Plan C, after school programming or childcare, they're going to see that these seats are not available. There is other ways to address these budget shortfalls that we do not involve cutting to the bone or even further the city services or even further the city services that New York City New Yorkers rely upon. She added, it goes, protesters scoffed at the mayor's notion that his final financial plan would have minimal disruption to citywide services, claiming New Yorkers would feel the brunt. Paul Martinka. All right, so Adams revealed Thursday that all city agencies would have their budgets slashed by 5% as part of his updated 2020 financial plan. Jay Mershomitz for New York Post. In addition to calling out Adams, protesters urged the city council to block the cuts that will see, in part, school funding slashed, New York's NYPD's force reduced considerably, and a reduction of sanitation departments pickup. Amshula Jairam, a campaign director with the Alliance for Quality Education Advocacy Group, said it was time the mayor to take ownership of the problem. He's blaming everyone but himself for the situation. He's blaming the migrants, he's blaming the state, he's blaming the federal government, and we're saying it's time to take ownership of this problem. Jairam told the Post, we're here to call for the mayor to step up, to show some moral clarity, more leadership, use that money, and then create a plan to put us in a stable financial fiscal place. All right, so we have that. Let's go back to the main screen here real quick. So we have that. Next is we have what we're trying to figure out too for us is like just trying to figure out what's the best way to do anything, because when we're faced with situations. So what I've been doing is I've been studying about um, I've been studying just pretty much how to make more money with my job and what I'm doing. So we have this stuff to do. So we're constantly doing our work and doing things we have with our DoorDash and food delivery stuff, as well as doing recent gigs and different things like that. So for the most part, though, what you have is that you're faced with a situation where you have to make more money. But then one of the things I'm talking about too is about you have the thing with the city bikes. You're talking about the city bikes type thing, and of course I don't have it open right now, so I gotta find it, and I can't find it because I just can't find it. But one of the things I want to tell you about was like just the whole thing regarding the city bikes that they are planning to roll out more of them, right? So they're going to cut back some budgets on certain things. They're going to cut back the details of how things work in terms of in terms of making things work out. But for us, what they're going to do, they're going to add more problems. I'm glad they're not raising the taxes because that would be one more thing. But for the most part, though, they're going to cut city work, like sanitation and police departments and cleanup and all those things. And then yes, that's the background noise. And then what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and give us more details on certain things that we shouldn't be doing. Like, they're going to just kind of tell us what they're going to do after they've done it, kind of thing. Because that's usually how they roll. They don't really roll in favor of of things that are going to help us. I mean, they kind of just give us more. Why? Because New York has become a sanctuary city, and it was voted as a sanctuary city. And so, as a sanctuary city, we get to care for everybody else in the world except for even our own. And one of the things they do is they go out of their way to make sure that we know that we are second class citizens compared to the rest of the world. So that's one of the things about New York that's kind of like very downing because I believe in New York. I like the art that New York has. I mean, yeah, I met my wife, I had my children, and I'm pretty much like, I came to know Jesus as my savior here in New York. Everything, a lot of things happen. I wasn't born in New York. I was born in another country. But for the most part, though, one of the things, like you look at these things and you say to yourself, man, why do they do this? And I think what the reason they do this is because they can. They really because they can, and because our only power is voting and resisting with our money. But when they do something like they make a plan to go ahead and have migrants come and live in the in the wastelands of New York, you know that they are thinking they're doing something that is going to benefit them, but in fact it doesn't benefit anybody. So here you have it. You're just kind of faced with a scenario where you're just kind of hoping that maybe, just maybe, they might do something right for us, and not just be like just all about their you know, their their plans to just kind of just ruin us. So that's kind of something there. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm looking at this thing here. The lift bikes, the city bikes that I really don't like. I keep talking about that. What I don't like about them is that they take up spots, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. What they do, they take up spots in the city, and people need to, people are trying to find ways to park their bikes and stuff like that, or to have their cars parked. And I'm trying to do some talking at the same time. It's really hard because I have to kind of find my screen and find out what screen I wanted to go to. But one of the things that they're thinking about dropping this. I got to make sure I get the right video for you. Okay, that's June. That's not the one I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is removal. Looking for the removal of these stupid bikes. Like, why I don't like them, you ask me? The reason I don't like them is because they are, they are one of those things where they have a deal with the city. And it's not a deal to make the city any better. I mean, you think of having the bikes, but they don't have it over in like Long Island. Once you cross over into to Flushing, where there's a huge population of people who would definitely like to use the bikes, they don't have them. There's a lot of parks over there, and what they do, they keep it all on this side of the Grand Central. So I found out I was driving over there. One day I'm gonna make a video. I'm just gonna drive around and show you all the places that they have, and not all the places, but as many in our neighborhood. And remember, for every bike port that they have, it's every bike port they have, it's taking away spots where cars can actually park their car. People can actually park their car. And so because of that, it has a big trouble because you're not able to find parking. Like when I do my delivery food service, I go out there and I can't find any parking. That's because the bottom line is that you just there's no spots for you because there's bikes taking up three spots. That's three spots on this block, and every two blocks another. So it's within a 20 block radius. You're gonna have at least several blocks that are gonna be missing. And if you have 200 of these bike ports or 20 of these bike ports, that's 60 cars that are displaced. That's three because they take up three spots. Each one takes three spots. And then now they're going to cut services in the city. They're going to cut services in the city. So what service they're going to cut? They're going to cut the ones with NYPD. These are going to bring the total down from 30,000 to about 30,000 people will be there. Let me read you the New York Times one of this. I was just kind of looking at that. The New York Times. Oh goodness, I can't really look at that one because it's blocked. So all right, I'll look at that one. Let's look at the protesters rally outside. Okay, I'm gonna look at that one. I'll look at this one instead. Let me just go ahead and show you the one about the bikes. Go back to the bike one. The city bikes. They're saying that it's in the city bikes one. I just want to talk about that too. It's November 15th. The city bikes. Let's go to New York Times. Let's read one. City bikes, city bikes, city bikes. Ooh, this sounds good. Wow, this is good. I'm gonna read this one. I'm gonna read it with you right now. Here we go. This one is a DOT. DOT is not God. It is possible to get rid of city bikes. Oh goodness, I'm gonna look into this one. That's gonna actually bring me some good news. All right, here we go. All right, so let me see if I can switch it back so you can actually see what I'm looking at here. Let me see if I. All right, so go see that one. Let me read this to you. All right, here it goes. DOT is not God. It is possible to get city bikes racks removed. There you go. Move the bike stations out of our art space. Okay, art space one. All right. All right. Of course, you can't read this whole story. Oh man, I want to read this one so badly. Okay. For months, residents of several Manhattan neighborhoods have been trying to unshackle themselves and their domiciles from the ruinous hand of City Bike, whose bulky racks have done everything from blocking EMS. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is so cool. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What do you do? I wanna read this one. All these reason things. If bike racks in some parks near where you live or work are the only things important enough to you in the world, you, you live to get out of the streets to protest. Then I'm sorry to inform you, but you're entitled. Never mind. It's selfish and do. We don't have time. The words. I hate the biking scofflaw population in the city, but I'm a city bike annual pass holder because the benefits program cannot be denied. As much as I hate these hated bikes and bike lanes when I'm behind the wheel, I actually appreciate some of the bike lanes. You people are robots. Robots. City bike opponents. It's always been about the chance to do histrionic, over the top denunciation and get loads of attention, making a reasonable request. Sounds reasonable. Why a particular accusation should be moved would spoil that. Becoming engaged with the process would mean admitting my share program has a legitimate place in the city. and that further these folks are willing to go. That goes to one of those insisted city bikes is run by Citibank. I mean, same kind of word. I thought it was Citibank. I thought it was Citibank, and now I know it's not. It's run by Lyft. Why make a phone call or write? Why make a phone call, write an email when you can just print whatever you feel like? I'm impatient for the next phase of the rollout. Come on, get Brooklyn better. Unreasonable subject. Read the Post article. Let's see what the Post article has to say. Mm-mm. Here we go. DOT claims court can't review replacement of city bikes. What? What? Courts can't review placement of city bike. Wow, this is crazy. The Department of Transportation, the Department of Transportation has blanket authority when it comes to placing city bike ranks, and even the court lacks the power to overrule the agency. A city lawyer argued in court papers. Location and the bike share program are beyond the scope of judicial review, and DOT's power is an unquestionable government function. Maybe they should get rid of that when they have the things, like the budget cuts. City Attorney Mary O'Sullivan Mary O'Sullivan, sounds familiar, wrote in response to a lawsuit filed by the Chelsea Co-op. She even compared the placement of city bikes to designated streets as alternate parking. I've said that for alternate parking or making the street one way. The city removed a six bike section from a 39 bike kiosk outside the Cambridge on West 13th Street. After Post reported an ambulance crew struggled to get a 92-year-old resident in distress. But the co-op board still sued with lawyers. Stephen Shore calling the poster child for all that was wrong with the program's rollout, and community board too write a letter in the DOT saying residents were blindsided by the rack size. The location of these large stations is already having detrimental and potentially dangerous consequences, such as blocking garbage collection, building entries, and accessorized services, wrote Chairman David Gruber. Residents say the kiosk blocked the 20-story building's entrance, snarled rush hour traffic, made it harder for sanitation trucks to pick up garbage that was placed across the street from where a planning map originally positioned it. But the city insists the case can't be handled in court. Let's see. DOT decisions as to the sites of the individual bike share stations on public streets and sidewalks are non-justiciable. Justiciable? I can't remember what word. Sidewalks are non-justiciable. O'Sullivan claimed in court papers filed on July 1st. She also called the rights of the residents of that 137 unit co-op no greater than that of the general public, and compared DOT's review of a bike share docks to its decision about alternate side parking and converting public park into a parking lot. I can't read it again because that doesn't sound right to me. No greater than the general public, and compared DOT's purview over bike sharing docks to its decision about alternate side parking and converting a public park into a parking lot. Let's see. Shore conferred in court documents filed on July 25th that judges have overturned city decisions about similar issues, such as changing traffic patterns around police headquarters and converting a public park into a parking lot. See, they always do these things. Nobody's above the law, he told the Post. They are subject to the courts. They are also subject to the court's scrutiny. You see this? You see this? You see the madness? You see the madness? Okay, so what does that mean for us humans? It means that the government can do whatever the heck they want to do, and they can do it to our streets. And unfortunately, they want to come in here and start cutting budgets because they think that we have to put up with the fact that we have no rights whatsoever. So, and pretty much what it's saying that we have no rights. We have no rights as citizens, and as citizens, we are just kind of forced to just do whatever they want us to do or whatever they feel like doing today. So if we are like, put in a situation where, we say that we don't like this, I don't know, there's got to be some kind of paperwork, some kind of petition that we can sign. And I'm going to go do some work on that because it's like, they're going to turn this whole city into a bike place. And it's like, yeah, it's good for bikes when you want to go bike riding. But when you have kids can't ride on the bike. Younger kids, you cannot do some kind of a makeshift. If a family of 6 or 7 or even 8, you can't ride those bikes. You can't no pay those money to ride those bikes. So what's happening is that you end up spending all this money to ride a bike when you can get your own bike and just save on the money. And you're gonna say, what about all the space and the storage? Well, I mean, what about into the streets? You're gonna move. There's two things happening. You have the situation where the cars are having to be displaced, and you have it where people are gonna have to have out of this place where they put their own bikes. And then, so that's the thing. It's like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? So we are at the mercy of tyrants and the mercy of psycho people, because at the end of the day, they just do what they want. So I'm thinking maybe it's time to move out of New York. As much as I love New York, it's maybe one of those things where we just might have to move out of New York and go someplace else, because at the end of the day, you're just kind of faced with just these rigmarole things for going on. I don't know. It's just I'm gonna put another video together about like how it was hard to determine what's right and wrong in this day and age. But for the most part, though, it's one of those things where I'm just like, the more I think about like life, it's really kind of depressing actually, because like you're kind of faced with having to make a decision. I mean, it's just a lot of things, but I'm gonna keep it to that right now. But for the most part, though, I just kind of just want to say that do what you can. If you can write a paper. I'm gonna see what I can do myself. But if you can write a paper to have them remove some of these bike share programs. I mean, who voted for this? This is how they do things here in the city. Just Department of Transportation. Just here, we'll put this here, and do that there and all that. And not given this rights to a private company to kind of like take up parking spots. And who cleans behind this thing? So yeah, so that's my complaint. That's my I'm upset. And then you have on the other side, you have where the city's just moving people in and just taking people's spots and taking people's lives and not taking people's money, and then they're going to cut budgets. New York City is a crazy place. All right, that's all I got for you. All right, please like and subscribe. Please let us know in the comments what you think, and definitely, we are all about just trying to get the numbers up there, so my family and I we can actually escape the city and go someplace else. Where would we go? I don't know. Alaska maybe. I don't know, but the Michigan Alaska stuff. So watch out for that. I don't know, maybe someplace nice and cool. I don't know. New York is really a nice place. Maybe upstate, maybe downstate, maybe Pennsylvania. Who knows? For the most part, though, just keep us in your prayers. I thank God for just all the things that happen. Again, I just wanted to kind of just guys, please look into the channels that my kids are working on. They're Guggen Air Studios, and my son's is Arsenal Productions. Please look into their channels and please like and subscribe, because any little bit helps. All right. So God bless you, and thank you so much for listening. And thanks so much for watching. And I wish you all the best. Okay. So God bless you and have a good day. Bye bye.